Good afternoon. I call this meeting of the Michigan Public Service Commission to order on December 19th at 1:30 p.m. Madam Secretary, please call the roll.
Chairman Talberg,
Present?
Commissioner Scripps,
Present.
Commissioner Phillips.
Present.
Madam Chairman, you have a quorum.
Thank you. And we have a little bit of a different setup here where there's a break from the week-long cross-examination in the DTE electric rate case. So appreciate everyone's patience with that hearing and trying to get through that and allowing us to interject with our commission meeting here today. All right, first up, is there a motion to approve the agenda?
Madam Chair, I move approval of today's agenda.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. The agenda is approved. Next up, is there a motion on the minutes?
Madam Chair, I move approval of the minutes of the regular commission meeting of December 6, 2019.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. The meeting minutes are approved. Item number 3 is approval of orders on the consent agenda. Today, the commission is assisted by Leah Arndt and staff.
Good afternoon. Today's consent agenda consists of 3 communication matters, 6 electric matters, and 3 gas matters. The proposed orders for each of these matters have been thoroughly vetted by the Commission's technical and legal staff and are ready for your approval.
Madam Chair, I move approval of the orders on today's consent agenda.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. The orders on the consent agenda are approved.
Item 4A1 is case number U-20623, which involves a notice of discontinuation filed by Talk America Services, LLC, of basic local exchange service and toll service to all of its existing customers in Michigan. Staff member Wendy Thalen is here to describe this order.
Good afternoon, Wendy.
Good afternoon. You hear me okay?
Yes.
On August 19th, 2019, Talk America Services, LLC filed its notice pursuant to Section 313 of the Michigan Telecommunications Act to discontinue providing basic local exchange service and toll service to its customers in Michigan on January 6, 2020. Talk America Services followed the notice requirements as outlined in Section 313, including providing notices to its customers. As a result of these notifications, the Commission has received comments or informal complaints from a dozen Talk America Services customers that were having difficulty obtaining an alternative provider of landline service. More specifically, the customers were informed by the service providers they contacted that the provider did not provide landline service or that the customer needed to purchase a bundle that included cable and/or internet in order to receive landline service. Some have been told that they can purchase voice over internet protocol or mobile service. Some were offered no service option. Section 313 allows a customer of a provider to request the Commission to investigate the availability of comparable voice service with reliable access to 911 and emergency service to that customer. Based on the comments and informal complaints received from the Talk America Services customers concerning lack of availability of alternative providers of basic local exchange service, as well as customer requests, the order before you commences an investigation into the availability of comparable voice services with reliable access to 911 and emergency services for Talk America Services customers. Accordingly, the Commission directs all incumbent and competitive local exchange carriers providing service throughout Talk America Services service area, as illustrated in their tariffs, to file statements in this docket no later than January 16, 2020, listing all of the specific types of comparable voice service with reliable access to 911 and emergency service that they are providing. The order also requests that all VoIP and wireless service providers operating in Talk America Services service area to respond to this order as well. The order further urges Talk America Services to delay its discontinuance of service in light of the Commission's investigation. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for your work on this, and we look forward to the responses from the providers. Is there a motion?
Madam Chair, I move approval of the order in case number U-20623.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. The order is approved. Thanks, Wendy.
Item 4B1 is case number U-15805, which involves an application filed by Consumers Energy Company for ex parte approval of a wind turbine purchase agreement and a balance of plant engineering, procurement, and construction agreement pursuant to Public Act 295 of 2008 as amended. The order before you grants the application.
Madam Chair, I move approval of the order in case number U-15805.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye, the order is approved.
Item 4B2 is case number U-20604, which involves an application by Consumers Energy Company for ex parte approval of power purchase agreements with qualifying facilities. The order before you approves the power purchase agreements between Consumers and S Power Company LLC affiliates, Cement City Solar LLC, Letts Creek Solar LLC, Thorn Lake Solar LLC, and Pullman Solar LLC, as in compliance with Public Act 304 of 1982.
Madam Chair, I move approval of the order in case number U-20604.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye, the order is approved.
Item 4B3 is case number U-20639, which involves the application of Consumers Energy Company for ex parte approval of a temporary waiver of Rule 460.3604 of the Commission's Technical Standards for Electric Service and for alternative electric meter testing procedures. The order before you approves the request.
Madam Chair, I move approval of the order in case number U-20639.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye, the order is approved.
Item 4B4 is case number U-20668, which involves an application by Consumers Energy Company requesting Commission ex parte approval of a one-time voluntary refund to the company's customers and authorization to implement accounting procedures as set forth in the application consistent with the refund. The order before you approves the application and establishes a period for comments on the company's proposed refund methodology.
Madam Chair, I move approval of the order in case number U-20668.
Second.
And just want to make a comment that I appreciate the staff's hard work in bringing this to resolution. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye, the order is approved.
Item 4C1 is case number U-20198, which involves an application by ZFS Ithaca LLC requesting an amendment to the Certificate of Public Convenience and Necessity to construct and operate the West Yankee Pipeline in Gratiot County, which was approved on February 7th, 2019. The order before you approves the application to amend and the settlement agreement resolving all issues in the case.
Madam Chair, I move approval of the order in case number U-20198.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye, the order is approved.
Item 4C2 is case number U-20608, which involves the amendment of the rules governing the technical standards for gas service. Staff member Kevin Spence is here to describe this order.
Good afternoon, Kevin.
Good afternoon, Commissioners. My name is Kevin Spence, engineer in the Gas Operations Section of the Energy Operations Division and case coordinator for U-20608. On October 17, 2019, the Commission opened this docket to amend the rules governing the technical standards for gas service. At that time, the Commission scheduled a public hearing on November 13, 2019, and sought comments concerning the proposed revisions to the standards. On December 4, 2019, the Commission received written comments from the Michigan Department of the Attorney General, the Retail Energy Supply Association, jointly filed comments from Consumers Energy Company, DTE Energy Company, and Michigan Gas Utilities Corporation, and separately filed comments by DTE Energy Company. Additionally, on December 5, 2019, the Commission received comments from Aram Adamczyk, which were submitted to the Michigan Office of Administrative Hearings and Rules. Notably from the comments, the joint commenters state that adopting the American Petroleum Institute Standard 1164 as the applicable security standard is not supported due to the lack of availability and clear understanding. Specifically, they indicated that the API standard is not generally available without registration and payment to API for copies, which impairs the ability of the public to comment. Based in part upon this comment, the Commission finds that an extended public comment period is appropriate in this case. The extension of the public comment period will allow for anyone who wishes to review the API standard to come to the Commission's office to review the API standard and provide additional feedback on the proposed adoption of this standard. Any person may submit written comments regarding the proposed rules, and although the extension relates in part to the API standard, comments are not limited to the API standard and may include any remarks pertaining to the collective amended rules. The order before you extends the public comment period. Comments must be received no later than 5 p.m. Eastern Time on January 9, 2020, and must reference case number U20608. Comments received after the deadline will not be considered. Thank you.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Madam Chair, I move approval of the order in case number U-20608.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. The order is approved.
Item 4C3 is case number U-20634, which is a proceeding commenced on the Commission's own motion to consider revisions to the prescribed fees to be paid by a public utility in lieu of an assessment pursuant to Public Act 299 of 1972 for pipeline applications under Public Act 9 of 1929 or Public Act 16 of 1929. Staff member Kevin Spence is here to describe this order.
On October 7, 2019, the Commission opened this docket to consider revisions to the fees prescribed pursuant to MCL 460.119 for pipeline applications filed in accordance with Public Acts 9 and 16 of 1929. The Commission found it appropriate to reevaluate the Public Act 299 fees to ensure up-to-date, equitable, and cost-based fees and assessments to ensure that the fee structure for natural gas pipelines and crude oil or petroleum pipelines does not place undue burden on regulated entities by subsidizing the Commission's regulatory activities surrounding natural gas producers, natural gas pipelines, and common carrier petroleum pipelines. At that time, the Commission sought comments concerning proposed revisions to the prescribed fees. Comments on the revisions were received from 3 parties: Enbridge Energy Limited Partnership, the Michigan Oil and Gas Association, and the American Petroleum Institute. Commission staff reviewed the received comments and incorporated the findings into a staff report submitted to the docket on November 11, 2019. In the report, staff provided 13 recommendations regarding revisions to the prescribed fees for application under Public Acts 9 and 16 based on the comments received and the Commission's operational needs. In the order before you, the Commission provides remarks to each of staff's 13 recommendations to the prescribed fees and orders that the revised fee schedule for pipeline applications attached to this order as Attachment A is approved and reflects the fees as prescribed by the Commission pursuant to MCL 460.119 for Public Act 9 and 16 applications filed after December 19, 2019. Thank you.
Thank you, and thanks for the work on this. I think that the comments and then the staff response really helped provide needed clarity and kind of equitable fee structure, so I appreciate the work on it. With that, is there a motion?
Madam Chair, I move approval of the order in case number U-20634.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. The order is approved. Thanks, Kevin.
Item 4D1 is case number U-20237, which involves an amended application filed by Detroit Thermal LLC for approval of its annual steam supply cost recovery plan and authority to freeze rates and temporarily suspend operation of the steam supply cost recovery clause. The order before you approves an amended settlement agreement resolving all issues in the case.
Madam Chair, I move approval of the order in case number U-20237.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. The order is approved. Great. Next up, we have item 5, year-end review. This has been a tradition over the last couple of years, is to take stock at our last commission meeting of the year and reflect on activities and accomplishments. And Mr. Bizdock, I'm sure you want to get on with the DTE rate case, so I'll try to be brief. Yeah. It seems like you have this like quick top 10, and then when you actually go through them, sometimes it's a little bit more laborious, but there's just so much to cover. And there were certainly no shortage of accomplishments at the Public Service Commission during 2019. I won't say this was an unprecedented year for us in terms of the level of activity, but it was unique, and I feel like we've been operating at this pace the last few years. It is a dynamic time in both the energy and telecommunications industries, and that's driving a lot of change here at the Public Service Commission. So I'll cover 10 highlights, but before I jump in, I would say that one of the hardest things is to actually pare down this list to come up with the top 10, because there's a tremendous amount of work that's done day in, day out that helps customers with utility issues, inspecting natural gas pipelines, reviewing investments and expenses, and it has a major impact, but it's more routine in nature. So we tried to pull out those items that were really notable during 2019. So it's probably no surprise that the number one item was the polar vortex and the response by the governor and the Public Service Commission with the statewide energy assessment. It was late January, and I'll probably remember this for the rest of my life. When I went off to work at the State Emergency Operations Center about 7 p.m., and it was about negative 25 degrees with, Arctic temperatures, a regional shortage of electricity that led to customers in Michigan voluntarily curtailing their usage in order to help supply the overall system, and a fire that led to the shutdown of Consumers Energy's Ray compressor station in southeast Michigan. This facility is unique in that it was supplying over half of the utility's peak capacity at that time and was a really essential piece of equipment. Michiganders, both residents and businesses, responded to calls for conservation that kept the gas flowing and electricity, the lights stayed on, but it was a time to step back and reflect on vulnerabilities and risks inherent in our energy supplies and delivery. The governor called on the Public Service Commission to undertake a study that was done, a comprehensive assessment of our energy supply and delivery to ensure that we could withstand extreme weather events, aging infrastructure, and other challenges. Our staff did an amazing job pulling together this in really just a few short months to do a comprehensive assessment. It received national attention, and it also led to a lot of practical recommendations that we hit the ground running as this report was finalized to implement and improve our systems and improve the resilience of them. The second item is, they're right here with me, new commissioners and other changes. We welcome Commissioner Dan Scripps right shortly after the Polar Vortex event. So that probably marks you joining the commission. We said goodbye to our colleague, Commissioner Norm Sari, after his 4 years here at the commission, and then Commissioner Tremaine Phillips joined us in September. So a lot of change with the commission and all the support that staff provides and helping commissioners get familiar with our processes and the issues is a tremendous undertaking. We also assumed new responsibilities after the Ray compressor station event, and now have resumed the responsibility dealing with energy emergencies in the state. And we also hired a new public information officer, Matt Helms, and we formed a new communications team to focus on outreach and transparency and just access to the commission. We said goodbye to longtime MPSC staff as they retired after long careers in public service, and we also welcome new faces at the commission. So lots of change. Third, speaking of change, new and cleaner supplies of energy. Michigan continues to accelerate its shift to cleaner, renewable energy resources with integrated resource plans and other actions to approve new wind and solar energy projects in Michigan, as well as expansion of energy waste reduction and programs that help customers shift demand away from peak times. We're experiencing a fundamental shift. It's profound, I would say, in Michigan in our power supplies, and we're effectively engaging stakeholders and the public in these important planning and investment decisions. They're important to the environment, they're important to reliability, and they're important to affordability. Consumers Energy just recently received the results from an initial round of competitive bids for expansion of solar energy in the state. So we're excited to see the results of that and next steps in that regard. We also engage stakeholders on ensuring the electric distribution grid can integrate all of these different technologies, particularly as customers do more on their side of the meter and start producing their own energy or take advantage of other programs. The grid needs to be able to support that going forward. So a lot of planning activities here at the commission and stakeholder discussions around that. Next, number 4, affordability continues to be a priority. There was a lot of effort by commission staff working with other state agencies, utility companies, low-income assistance providers, and other diverse stakeholders on ways to improve programs for customers most in need. This also includes Commissioner Scripps' efforts to support the governor's UP Energy Task Force, led by the Department of Environment, Great Lakes and Energy. There's kind of 2 prongs to that, one being propane and the other the long-term affordability for customers in the Upper Peninsula for energy. Fifth, telecommunications. We joined the new national system to streamline eligibility screening for the low-income Lifeline program for broadband and voice service. Michigan's was early in developing our own system to streamline the eligibility screening process, and I think it led to a much smoother transition than other states experienced. So kudos to our telecommunications staff working with Department of Health and Human Services and DTMB on that. Also, we completed work on the new state broadband program, access restructuring mechanism, and 911. Number 6, new distributed generation pricing. This was not without significant controversy that we implemented based on the 2016 laws, a new methodology for pricing for DTE customers that have on-site renewable energy such as solar panels. Customers under the existing net metering program continued to receive their existing pricing from 10 years from the date of enrollment. They were grandfathered under this change in the 2016 law. Customers are participating in the new program. We continue to see growth, and the new rate structure is designed to be fair and equitable, and with the payments for excess generation based on the full retail portion of the bill for capacity and energy. Next up, number 7, and this ties right in to this overall shift we're seeing into clean energy and customer engagement. In October, the Commission, in conjunction with Governor Whitmer, launched My Power Grid, which is a multi-year initiative that seeks to maximize the benefits of clean energy for customers. The focus is on customer engagement, integrating emerging technologies, and optimizing grid investments and performance. We're just seeing rapid change with advancements in energy storage, electric vehicles, and renewable energy, and want to engage stakeholders to ensure Michigan is adapting to this change effectively. There's a lot of work groups underway. I think Commissioner Phillips will touch on that, but there's up-to-date information on events coming up, staff leads, and other background materials at michigan.gov/mypowergrid, MyPowerGrid. All right, number 8, Tax Cuts and Jobs Act. We concluded our work to return over $4 billion of savings to customers of regulated energy companies in the state associated with the lower federal corporate tax rate. We were one of the first commissions in the country to take action in this regard to ensure the full amount was returned to customers. Kudos to Commissioner Eubanks at the time for her leadership, and also our staff for really digging in, even as this was being finalized in the federal legislation, to ensure that we acted quickly and effectively to get these dollars in the hands of customers. Item number 9, gas safety infrastructure and oversight. Gas safety continues to be a priority here in Michigan and at the Public Service Commission. It is absolutely essential with all the construction activity that's occurring that can affect underground utility facilities and the replacement of aging infrastructure. Our gas safety team successfully launched a major new IT system to track their inspections and compliance and integrate what had been a whole set of different systems. And they also developed a new on-call system that will make it easier for operators when there's incidents to report to staff and ensure we have round-the-clock coverage in a streamlined fashion. So that's going to be launching after the holidays in January. And lastly, item number 10, electric vehicle pilots. Consumers Energy and DTE Energy both launched new pilots for electric vehicle charging infrastructure and testing different concepts related to rate design and integration of this technology. It's exceeding expectations in terms of the participation by customers to put charging infrastructure in their homes and businesses around the state. So we're excited to continue to monitor that. I think it ties in with the pilot effort on My Power Grid that Commissioner Phillips is spearheading with staff here at the Commission. And so with that, again, thanks to staff, the administrative law judges, our attorneys, all the parties who engage in our efforts day in and day out. We operate under really tight timelines and grapple with complex and controversial issues, but the professionalism and collaboration on all these issues is greatly appreciated and just really noteworthy. So happy holidays to you all. Anything that you want to add?
Yeah, I've got another top 10.
Oh,
in
okay,
addition.
yes.
No,
There's
but-
like tweets going out.
Yeah.
as we- like, come on, we've got to
No.
get this hearing over with.
I will say, though, that before we formally wrap up for the year, I want to thank you, Chairman Talberg, for your leadership and friendship, and Commissioner Phillips for the insight and commitment and passion that you've brought that's made an immediate impact on our work. I feel tremendously blessed to be a member of this commission, and particularly because, while much of what you covered gets a fair amount of attention outside of this building, a lot of the most important contributions in many ways are probably unnoticed outside of the commission, and that's the culture of openness and collaboration and the spirit of collegiality that you've fostered among the commission, in our office, and really throughout the staff. And it makes wrestling with these sort of difficult, often cases, actually fun. And I look forward to coming to work every single day and to working and serving with the two of you. I think it's probably clear that we work well together, and that I think genuinely like and respect one another. And so thank you, both of you, and I'm excited to see what awaits us in 2020.
A very crowded agenda, I'm pretty sure. We were just joking this morning during a meeting that almost more than half of the folks around the table were not there during a similar meeting a year ago. So I'll kind of butcher the analogy, but it's like building the airplane while flying it, and then also adding new personnel on the trip as well.
I think the bicycle analogy sounds a little safer
Yeah,
for
that
my
does, that
taste.
does. But certainly, just given all of the changes and new members to the commission coming on board, it is just tremendous that the staff has still been able to accomplish this pretty tremendous list here over the last year. I just wanted to particularly comment on the My Power Grid initiative. I know we've been mentioning it throughout the last several meetings, but the rubber will really hit the road in 2020. So we have a couple of meetings that have been scheduled, and the dates have been established. So in particular, for the Grid Security and Reliability Standards Stakeholder Group, those meetings will be on January 8th of 2020, February 12th, and then March 12th of 2020. Those meetings will be held in the Lake Michigan Hearing Room here in this building. And then also the Demand Response Stakeholder Group will be having its first meeting on January 16th of 2020, also in the Lake Michigan Hearing Room. As Sally mentioned, those meetings and further updates on the agenda can be seen at michigan.gov/MIPowerGrid. And we just hope that into the new year, we hope and encourage those stakeholders to take an active role in helping us during this tremendous transformation here in the state of Michigan.
Great, thank you.
Thank you.
It only took Commissioner Scripps like 10 months to need reading glasses, so we're watching to see.
Wish I hadn't forgotten them upstairs right now.
I have
so.
contacts, so.
At least you could do the impromptu remarks. So thank you both for that. All right. Next up, we have item number 6, public comments. Anyone seeking to address the commission should come forward. All right, seeing no one. Our next commission meeting will be in the new year, January 23rd at 1:30 p.m. This will be a business meeting, organizational meeting, and so we'll set the meeting schedule for the year at that time as well. Is there a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. The meeting's adjourned. Thank you.